Thank you for coming by Tori Magoo 44. Today is where we at? It is, nope, not the 11th. That was yesterday. It is the 12th, 2011, February. Thank you for coming by Tori Magoo 44. I'm doing my series on then and now, and this is on critics then, when Scientology started, which was really Dianetics in the early days, and now, which is much different. And first of all, I'd like to wish all of Anonymous, who's been helping expose the Church of Scientology and their abuses, happy anniversary. This is their 3rd anniversary. And they have done a fantastic job. I mean, it has been amazing to be a part of it, watch it, and the critics before Anonymous. Early on in 1950 was when LRH wrote Dianetics, Modern Science of Mental Health. For a long time, he just had a few critics. Some of the Dianeticists back then said, nah, we're not, when he formed the Church of Scientology, they were like, not us. We're not doing that. No. So they were the early guys, but it was sort of like, just sweep them off. They're not part of our group, right? And then the next thing that came along was in the 80s, David Miscavige took over the church. And during that time, they basically canceled the missions pretty much, kind of did this whole coup d'etat with the missions, screwed them over, told them they had to give them a ton of their money. And a bunch of them said, we're out of here. Plus they had to report to the Church of Scientology now and follow their rules and all this stuff. And they didn't get into it to do that. They got into it to help people and to, help get new people in, that kind of a thing. And, it was their own personal thing. And now it wasn't. It was going to be run by the Church of Scientology. So in the 80s, the finance police came in, which were these really creepy guys. Really creepy guys. I used to always say, how did Germany start? I don't even get it. How could people follow something like that? But in the 80s, we kind of saw that with the finance police. It was scary. These people just took over. And you could say, how could you go along with that? But again, I say it a million times. If you haven't studied mind control, you'll never understand how we could go along with it. It's a combination of peer pressure and mind control. And those two things, if you really understand them, you understand how people went along with it. It is, if you haven't watched The Truman Show, watch it, because it's very similar to that. Okay, so after that came out Messiah or Madman by Ben Corden, co-authored by L. Ron Hubbard Jr., his son, right? Which, that was 86 within 24 hours, because I was working on the PR lines at the time, and they said, go home, we'll handle it. We'll tell you about it tomorrow. And they had a notarized thing from L. Ron Hubbard saying, I never had any problems with my dad. I didn't co-author that book, da-da-da-da, right? I didn't find out until I left Scientology that what happened there, they paid him off. They pay off people. You don't know that when you're in the Church of Scientology. So that book was out. A Piece of Blue Sky by John Atack. And then, I always forget this one. It's like Barefaced Messiah, Barefaced Messiah. That's the other one. And that's by Russell Miller, who was never in the Church of Scientology. The other two guys were. Russell Miller never was. And it's about L. Ron Hubbard. It's a good book. But people back then, it was like, this was then, even then, in the 80s, you couldn't really, it was just like, don't read those books. They're by suppressive people. They're horrible. Don't read them. Right? Time magazine article came out, Scientology, every week they had something in the LA Times, how great this is, how great that is, da-da-da-da. They spent millions of dollars trying to dead agent the Time magazine article, which had a lot of facts about the Church of Scientology and the real dark side of it, right? Okay. So then in the 90s, what happened? The internet comes around. The Church of Scientology has an event. And they say, and I've told people this, but if you haven't heard it, they put on what's called a net nanny. And I know a lot of people don't know this because they call me and ask me. But it's a thing that literally, they gave us a little, first of all, we were supposed to go make a website, tell our wins, which we did, right? And they gave us a little disc, said, put this on your computer. Now, computers were very new back then when they did this. It was the end of the 90s. We put it on our computers, unbeknownst to us, locks out all quote-unquote N theta bad news about the Church of Scientology on the internet, right? So they thought they had handled the internet. Lo and behold, you can always count on Scientology to screw things up. That's just the way they are in the Church of Scientology. Every time. They have throughout their life. And this was another huge one that I was kind of a part of because I was helping my auditor, didn't know what they were doing really behind the scenes, which was this really creepy stuff. But they had entered what's called a cancel command, and I can't explain it because I'm not a computer person, but basically it was to cancel the only news group that was on the internet talking about the abuses of Scientology and how weird it was with the church, right? People that had been members and had left, and they were writing on it, right? So they entered this cancel command thinking they're going to cancel the entire news group. Well, unbeknownst to them, there are people around the world on the internet going, not on our watch. We don't know anything about Scientology. But no, you're not canceling anything on the internet. And that's still, I love all the people around the world who hold that strong. Because this is going to just keep coming down to the corporations and us, we the people. And it's like the people, like in Egypt, they won. Now, granted, there's going to be some fallout. There's no question about it because it has been a regime of horror, right? And that guy's gone. So now there's going to be some fallout, but give them a break. You know what I mean? These people, this is a good thing overall. I really think it is. And I really believe the people, if we stay strong, it's just going to keep getting better and better and better. Because the people that run this stuff are really creepy people, just like David Miscavige. Now the FBI is looking into it. But then and now there's all kinds of books. After Anonymous came out, okay, so just to finish that, so the critics came out then from around the world. And these were, a lot of them, excellent researchers, computer geeks, people that knew how to create websites. And I asked Andreas, who has Xenu.net, what got you interested? And he said, well, I read in the paper somebody in Norway was suing the Church of Scientology, or they were suing them, one or the other. And he was like, what is this? And being a computer guy, looked around the internet, and there was something here, there was something there was something over here. There were pockets of information around the internet, but nothing on a website. And he, being an excellent computer guy, created Xenu.net, which had all the facts that were around the internet that people could not find in one thing, all in one website. For years, people promoted Xenu.net. That was the main website. From that other net, the websites were created. Now, move forward. So those are the critics there's the ex-Scientologists, Scientologists who are still calling themselves Scientologists, but that didn't come out until later. But there were the ex-Scientologists back then. Then the critics in the 90s, right? And then in 2000, as you all know, somebody leaked a thing with Tom Cruise, you're either in or you're out. And part of the group of Anonymous, not all Anonymous, because they've made a great analogy of that, where think of a circle, that's Anonymous, and think of a sliver of the circle, that's the group fighting the Church of Scientology's abuses. But the effect they've had within less than a month, they pulled together 9,000 people around the world. And I'm going to put the link in here. If you haven't seen it, watch it. And if you have seen it, watch it. It's a great video of people around the world exposing the abuses of the Church of Scientology. So that was 3 years ago, and today is their anniversary. We're having a picket today. If you'd like to come out, come on out. We're having an excellent time. In the meantime, since 3 years ago, Marty Rathbun and Mike Rinder left, who are big time working right next to Miscavige. Pretty much Mike was the PR. Marty was, one of the inspector general or something. Now they're out. They've got their own blog that they're exposing things every single day, and more Scientologists are leaving. So that's a whole nother huge thing. They did things on Nightline. The media has opened up since Anonymous came about. I think it's the safety in numbers. That's my own view on it, where there's so many people in so many cities around the world. People went, okay, I can tell my story now. And now people come out. They tell their story. They say their name. But I know, and we know, the people who for years, there was like 3 or 4 or 5 people that would really tell their story to the media. And the rest of them would talk about it, but be like, don't put my name on it. So to everyone who has spent time for years helping expose the Church of Scientology, all the way up to the independent Scientologists who are there telling their stories. I thank you all. It is a fantastic thing. David Miscavige is now getting investigated by the FBI. More and more media are telling more and more stories about it. Paul Haggis just had his huge article in the New Yorker, which was fantastic. The guy who did even the checking of facts was terrific. So it's just getting better and better and better. And like I've said to DM forever, TikTok, time is on our side. Because you can't break up families. You can't hurt people and think that it's not going to come back to you. It's going to come back to you, man. There's no question about it. And it is. So happy anniversary to Anonymous. I love you all. Happy Valentine's Day if I don't make another video until then. In the meantime, remember my little thing. This is the month. Happy Valentine's Day. I love you all. There you go.